And the gift that keeps on giving is the transfer portal. Alongside the senior writer, the lead writer for Warchant.com, Corey Clark. My name is Tom Lang. Florida State, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, there it is. Defensive tackle Braden Fiske from Western Michigan, Corey. Yet another trench monster added to the list for FSU. Another guy that can play pretty much right away.
Yeah, and look, this was a big need, right? I mean, we go into this next season still not knowing where Fabian Lovett will be in 2023, knowing where Robert Cooper will be, which will not be in Tallahassee. I guess we don't know where he'll be. We know where he won't be, which is in Tallahassee. And quite frankly, a lot of the backups and the guys that have played a lot this year haven't proven to be elite, and we don't know if they're getting there. We like Josh Farmer. We don't know what he's going to be. Malcolm Ray, guys like that. Jared Jackson's already left the program and on somewhere else. So they had a hole. They don't have nearly as many as they have had in recent years, but the defensive line is a big one. And literally, according to the On3 rankings, Tom, they just got the best defensive lineman on the market. Legitimately. Yep. He's the number 6 overall player, and he's the number 1 defensive lineman. So now if you're keeping track, at least with On3's rankings, which is all you should really care about, Florida State has the number 6 player in the portal, the number 7 player in the portal, and the number 10 player in the portal. I mean, that's cleaning up. That's a pretty incredible. That, look, man, if you go just by high school rankings, right, the top 25 to 30 players in the country are 5 stars. Well, if we want to do that with portal and extrapolate it, well, Florida State's landed 3 5-star players, a defensive tackle, a tight end, and an offensive lineman. And I think the defensive tackle, this guy, might be the most important of all.
Yeah, again, because considering what you're losing, which is 2 stalwarts, and we saw, Corey, what the Florida State front 4 looked like without Fabian Lovett, without Robert Cooper at 100% for most of the season, and it was a big difference, huge difference. And those guys that are younger on the depth chart, Florida State they want Daniel Lyons to get up to speed and be ready to go for a game there. Bishop Thomas or Ayobami Tafasi, who impressed, even though he was taking an academic shirt this past fall. Those guys don't feel the pressure now. So their development isn't stunted by too much too soon. So as it pertains specifically to the defensive interior, Florida State now is allowing the guys that they brought in from the high school ranks to mature the normal way, the way they're supposed to mature. And then they also get plug-and-play guys that are ready to go and rotate. Because, Corey, now that they've got this all settled, it's pass rusher, it's maybe Jared Verse returning back or not, and then maybe 1 or 2 more safeties, and then they should be okay on defense in terms of looking at the 2 deep heading into 2023.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at the On3 portal rankings, team rankings, and I'm like, oh, Florida State must have flown up the charts with this one. And no, they're like 6th right now, 6th or 7th. And it's because all the other teams in front of them have gotten so many more players. But when you look at the average ranking of these players, it is through the roof. Like Colorado, I think, is 2nd right now in the team portal. And this is how rankings work in general. They're 2nd right now in the portal rankings, but their average player is like a 60. Florida State's average player is an 83. And it is by far and away the best average of any team that's in the portal, at least in the top 10. So, yeah, when you look at what the holes they've had to fill, and we knew they needed a couple offensive linemen. We thought they did anyway. Tight end, I mean, you couldn't have done better in the tight end. And this guy, people might look at Western Michigan and think, oh, okay, well, he's a Western Michigan guy. How good is he really? Well, how good was the Albany transfer? And Albany's a lesser school than Western Michigan. This kid, as a defensive tackle, had 12 tackles for loss and 6 sacks. You don't usually get that kind of production from a defensive tackle. He probably won't have that kind of production here, but he could be a wrecker. He could be an offense wrecker, which is what Fabian Lovett is when he's healthy. He could be, we don't know, if he's a Fabian Lovett clone, if he's as good as that, well, then you've just hit a home run. Because Fabian Lovett was a supreme difference maker for this team when he was healthy.
Well, that's the thing I love about the transfer portal, at least as the rules are currently constructed. That film is so much more reliable for evaluations from this coaching staff. And we trust this coaching staff in general. They do a pretty good job of finding diamonds in the rough in the high school ranks. And then when they bring in a kid from Albany or they bring in a kid from a school that you haven't heard of before, you think there's going to be a good chance that they know what the hell they're evaluating and what they're going to develop when they get to Florida State. So that's the thing about the portal. If the rules don't change, you love where Florida State is because they seem to get an early jump on these players as well. So for Florida State right now, they're still in the running for one of the top 2 players in the transfer portal, and that's Fentrell Cypress. If they land that guy, Corey, then they're going to have the 5-star class, and you just got to say, Happy freaking New Year, Noles.
I mean, that would be a great addition, but this one's a big one, man. Like I think this one's no offense to the cornerbacks of the world. I know people love cornerbacks, but it all starts up front. I think this is as big as landing the Cypress kid. I think the young defensive linemen, the young defensive tackles could be good. Like Daniel Lyons, he has really flashed. With 8 months from now, he might be a real player. Same thing with I can never pronounce the kid's name. I apologize.
Iobami Tafasi. I got you.
My man Tafasi. There's a chance he could be something too, but they're young. This kid is not young. He comes in ready-made, ready to play right away, and he will be a starter on opening night against LSU. Health permitted, he's going to be a starter, just like at least two of the guys they've already gotten in the portal. And, Tom, they have a pretty good team coming back. So you are just adding pieces to a team that should be top 10-ish when the season starts. You're adding pieces that are going to be huge down the road. They're going to be huge in 8 months. This is a 300-pound wrecking ball of a kid that might have an NFL future, probably does have an NFL future, and you just got him, December 26th. Merry Christmas.
There it is. Happy Boxing Day, everybody. You
right,
got
exactly right. Celebrate responsibly, everyone.
So between Fiske and Darrell Jackson from Miami, Florida State has fortified the ranks of defensive tackle. Josh Farmer figures to get a bunch of reps.
And we don't know yet if Fabian's coming back or not.
Yep.
That hasn't at least been announced. And imagine if he comes back, now all of a sudden you're going to be better up front than you were last year by maybe a substantial margin.
Yeah, that rotation of a top four would be insane. And just for the folks who are watching, as we release this on warchant.com or Warchant TV on December 26th, this was not related to that. Sometimes you can see Florida State take a guy from the portal and you realize, oh, clearly they must know something's up, that there's a departure. They would have gone after Fiske no matter what. So that decision has yet to be made. This should be an interesting week or two for Florida State to get some big-time answers from Fabian Lovett, Jared Verse, Jamie Robinson, Akeem Dent, and maybe some other guys. But regardless of that, Florida State has fortified the ranks at defensive tackle. So, Corey, you're on the road right now. In about 10, 15 minutes, you're heading down to Orlando, right?
In about 10 or 15 seconds, I'm hopping in the car and driving to Orlando, buddy. Sunny Orlando, 45-degree Orlando.
There you go. It'll be around 75 or 80 degrees by the end of the week. I just know it. And you know what to do when you want to tune into the best Florida State sports coverage. It's go to Warchant TV, hit subscribe, hit the like button underneath, and join warchant.com for $10 through August 31st of next year. It's worth $10 this week, folks. So head over to Warchant.
Yeah, it's worth $10 a day. It's worth $10 a day. You get it for come on now. Come on. Just come on and do it. Subscribe.
Come on and do it. That's the man. That's what he says. We're going to put a shirt together that says, come on and do it. Corey Clark, 22.
Absolutely.
He's Corey. I'm Tom. This is Warchant TV. We'll catch you on the next video. There'll be breaking news in 15 minutes. We'll see you then.